If an injured employee stays out of work too long, there's a good chance they're never coming back. And when that happens, your workers' comp claim gets a whole lot more expensive, which means your insurance does too. But there's a way to stop that from happening, and most businesses completely overlook it. In this video, I'll show you how return to work programs actually reduce the total cost of a workers' compensation claim, why keeping employees engaged after an injury dramatically increases the chances they ever come back, and how you can put a program like this in place without adding any real costs to your business. There's one claim I'll never forget. I was working with a children's home, and one of their employees was restraining a youth, and that situation escalated fast. The employee ended up getting thrown through a wall. He suffered a concussion and some pretty serious brain injuries. Now, this wasn't a quick claim. This thing dragged on for years. By the time it was all said and done, the total cost was over $200,000. And here's the part most people don't think about it. A big chunk of that wasn't medical bills. It was wages being paid while he was out of work. And the longer that claim went on, the more that number just kept climbing. Now, think about this for a second. What if there had been a way for that employee to stay connected to work, even in a limited role, while he was recovering? Most people assume that the biggest cost in a workers' comp claim is the medical bills. And yeah, those can be expensive, but that's usually not what drives the total cost of the claim. A huge portion of a workers' comp claim isn't just medical bills, it's the wages you're paying while that employee is out. And the longer they're out, the more that number keeps climbing. Think about it like this. Every single week that goes by, you're stacking more cost onto that claim, whether anything changes medically or not. And that's exactly what happened in that story. That claim didn't just get expensive because of the injury, it got expensive because of how long it stayed open. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Research shows that when you have a return to work program in place, you can cut down the amount of time someone stays out by weeks, sometimes even months, which means you're not just helping the employee, you're directly cutting down one of the biggest cost drivers in the entire claim. Here's what most people don't realize. The longer someone stays out of work, the less likely they are to ever come back. And this isn't just opinion, this has been studied. Once an employee has been out for around 6 months, there's less than a 50% chance they'll ever return to work at all. Just think about that for a second. At that point, you're not just dealing with a claim anymore. You're potentially dealing with a permanent separation. And there are a few reasons why this happens. First, people lose their routine. Second, their confidence starts to drop. And third, they just become disconnected. And when that connection fades, so does the likelihood that they ever return. Now, tie that back to the claim. If someone never comes back, that claim stays open longer. Wage costs continue, and the total cost goes way up. So when people hear return to work program, they usually think it means forcing someone back onto the job before they're ready. That's not what this is. A return to work program is about giving someone a way to come back without having to do their full job right away. It's modified duty, light duty work, something that fits within their restrictions while they're recovering. And in most businesses, there are more options than you think. The goal isn't productivity at full capacity, the goal is keeping them engaged. Because when someone is still connected to work, even in a small way, they keep their routine. They stay part of the team, and mentally, they never fully check out. And when you start shortening claims like that, it doesn't just affect that one situation, it starts to impact your insurance. Insurance companies are looking at your history, how many claims you've had, how long they lasted, and how much was paid out. And when claims stay open for a long time, that's what drives your costs higher over time. But when you have a return to work program in place, you're doing the opposite. You're shortening the life of the claim. You're reducing how much gets paid out. And in fact, studies have shown that businesses with return to work programs can reduce their workers' compensation costs significantly, sometimes by as much as 40 to 50%. Lower claim costs lead to better loss history. Better loss history leads to lower premiums. And the best part about all of this is that putting a return to work program in place doesn't actually cost you anything. This is just planning. It's thinking ahead and asking a simple question. If someone gets hurt, what could they still do? Because when you have figured that out ahead of time, you don't scramble when a claim happens. And this is one of those things where if you wait until someone gets hurt to figure it out, you're already too late. Because return to work programs are just one side of controlling your workers' comp costs. The other side, and this is where I see a lot of businesses get burned, is how you classify and pay the people working for you. A lot of contractors and even service organizations think if I just pay someone as a 1099, I can avoid workers' comp costs altogether. And that assumption is exactly what leads to those massive audit bills, 10,000, 20,000, and even $30,000 plus. So if you want to understand how that actually works and how to protect yourself before an audit ever happens, click right here and watch this next video on 1099 versus W-2, the workers' compensation cost trend.